How are you guys doing tonight? I'm trying out. Hi. I kind of look crazy. I was at the river. So, tonight we are going to be talking about astrology. Hi, Kamala. Hi, Cindy. Hi, everyone. Hi, Alicia. Welcome. Yeah, so we are going to be talking about numerology, yay, and astrology. So I know a lot of people are always asking about these things, and usually we start off by doing a meditation, but I don't really feel like doing a meditation tonight. So what I'm gonna do instead, because of it's the new moon, and it's the new moon in Pisces. So you guys have to stay grounded, because Pisces tends to be, emotional. Pisces tends to be creative, and all of those energies that are going on. So you really want to, if you're getting creative ideas and stuff, you really want to ground them. So you really want to write them down. You really want to spend a lot of time in nature so that you can ground the awesome energies that are coming through right now. Mercury is in retrograde, but that is nothing to be fearful of. But before we go into all the astrology and everything, I'm just going to go into some what I call a rampage. So sometimes when I'm feeling really grateful, so like this new moon is more about saying affirmations more than just like really putting out any intentions out there, because personally for me, like, I do write my intentions down, but then I tend to just leave them alone. So it's kind of like the universe already knows what I want. So for me, there's no sense in going back and meditating upon my desires and what I've already, like, put out into the universe. So what I usually do is I just give thanks for what I already have. You know what I'm saying? I give thanks for the roof over my head. I give thanks for family, family who's always coming through for me. Friends, as Coffee said, friends who share a heavy load. Give thanks for your bed and your furniture. Give thanks for small blessings. Give thanks for the sun and the rain and the river and the beaches and the sun, nature. Give thanks for the farmers that farm the food that you eat. Give thanks for, all the people that are responsible for the food that you eat. The people that work in the supermarket, the people that work in all the areas that you need their services. Your mechanics, the taxi drivers, the bus drivers, your transportation officers. Just give thanks for them. The cashiers, when you go to the supermarket, just kind of like sprinkle some magic dust on everyone that you can think about right now, that who has played a part in your life. You can even go as far back as to childhood, high school, college, all the people that really like played a role. Just thank them. Just thank all the knowledge that you've acquired because of all the experiences that you've been through. Thank everyone, even the people that hurt you. They definitely taught you a lot, so, and helped you to clean up your karma. So just give thanks. Just give thanks. Give thanks for, if you have a job, just give thanks, even if it may not be 100% the job you want. Don't complain about the little things that you need to clean up. Just continue working on them, but keep on giving thanks for the things that you see in front of you that you can give thanks for. You know what I'm saying? Give thanks for, little signs and symbols that we get from our spirit guides. Give thanks for the messages in songs and in movies. And give thanks for the awakening. Give thanks for the light that's flooding to the earth. Give thanks for, our parents, our siblings. As I said before, family. Family is very important. Give thanks for your clients if you're business people. Give thanks for your boss. Give thanks for your neighbor. Give thanks for your fan in your house, your AC. Just give thanks, give thanks, Give thanks, give thanks, give thanks, and just you want to affirm that life is easy and effortless. I'm always in the flow, I'm always in the right place. I never get it done and I never get it wrong. Life is just for living. There's no wrong or there's no right, there's no judgment. It's just my experience, and I'm always going with the flow, and life is always easy for me, and things are always working out for me, and the universe always has my back, and my spirit guides and my angels are always guiding me in the right way, on the right path. Although I just said there's no wrong and right, but if you know what I mean, the path of my destiny and what I'm here to do. And I listen to the calling of my purpose, and the work that I do, I'm passionate about it. I love the work that I do. My work is easy and effortless. I love the fact that I make money doing the things that I love to do. I love the fact that I contribute to the universe. I contribute to the environment. Just speak these things into being, even if they're not so just very yet. You can just go on a rampage and just basically give thanks for things that are and things that you really want to speak into being. Okay, so yay. Hi guys, I've been good. I've been really good. Kind of look crazy tonight, but I've been I've been meditating a lot, and I've been just so quiet in my space, and just getting a lot of downloads. So, we are going to go into tonight's topic, and first off, we're going to talk about astrology. Now, where astrology is concerned, I am not very versed on astrology. So, it's kind of like spiritual school is kind of like college. So, when you choose things that you want to master in, or you want to, and then you minor and you major rather. So you choose things that you want to major in and you want to minor in and stuff. So it's kind of like the same thing with spirituality. So I kind of tend to choose the subjects that I like. So I tend to like numerology, and I tend to like oracles and things like that, and basically just clairaudience and mediumship and just natural. I don't know, because I don't really ask for these gifts, and I don't really know how exactly to explain how it works, but I just wanted to share my experience. So with astrology, what a lot of people misunderstand is that, okay, so when you read regular astrology, like in magazines and the ones that you usually see in the Star, that's just basically talking about your sun sign. So usually we have like 16 different houses, and so you have your sun sign, your moon sign, so you have to know what your moon is in, the different houses that represent the different areas of your life purpose, communication, love, and friendship, and things like that. So as I said, I'm not really going to go into any details. I just want to basically share what I know. So when you are reading that part, you're just basically reading about just one aspect of yourself. And usually, if you get your astrological chart done, now you can get this for free. I'm going to start offering the recordings, but there's so much information online that you could just go and get like your how should I say it now, your astrological chart done for free. You could just type in your name and your birthday, and you could just get it emailed to you. But at the same time, it's just like when I've had that done, it's just like there's so much still that you have to read through, because it's very complicated. As I said, it's just like 16 different houses. Like, for example, every astrologer that has done my chart, they've always said that, oh, you're crazy, because I have like 8 different I have in 8 of my houses, I have like Gemini in 8 of my houses. So it's kind of like, you can imagine that's just like 16 personalities alone right there. So it's very important. It's very nice, because when I had my astrological chart done, it explained a lot to me in terms of my parents and my relationship with them. It explained a lot to me. Like, for example, I am very shy. So my how should I say it now, my life purpose, or what part of my life purpose is to put myself out there, is to just like be like a public speaker, share my knowledge. I've always wanted to do my music, things like that. So I kind of like I'm needing to be on stage, but I've always been like extremely shy and feeling like there is absolutely no way that I could do something like that. But when I did my astrological chart, I realized that the reason why I was being challenged like this is because in the past, no, I know a lot of people don't believe in past lifetimes, but I do. In the past, what has happened is that I've been so closely knit to the tribe. It's hard for me to take myself out of the tribe and single myself, separate and apart from people. So I'm always just like sacrificing for people. So all my past lifetimes and, basically based on how my chart has been set up, I've always been just like sacrificing for people, sacrificing myself for people, downplaying my shine just to let others shine, just so I'm always more of for the community instead of like for myself. So when I realized that that was where the challenge was, of course, it made it easier for me to work on those aspects, and it made it easier for me to realize and understand what was happening. So that's just like one aspect. So then another aspect was like my mother. My mother is more like my daughter. So we have this like really, really deep connection. I sometimes I tend to think that like sometimes I feel like my mom and I are still like attached. My navel string is still attached to my mom. But when I check my charts, it's that what it shows is that me and my mom has such a really strong connection, and I really have to work on creating that balance where I can still be in touch with my mom but still go out, because to be honest, I was just in the country. I was just in with my mom and I didn't want to leave. Like we have such a close bond and we just laugh and have so much fun together. I didn't want to leave, and life was just so easy in the country. We could just live off the land. They don't really even have to work, but I came back and, because of a mission, because I have a mission, because I want to, it's more than just my backyard. You know what I'm saying? I want to like really touch lives on a global scale. So I've had to find the balance between being so attached to my mom and she being so attached to me, and me putting myself and being out there in the world. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so that is just like some aspects of astrology. So it goes way deeper than just reading about, your sign in a magazine or reading about it in the star or stuff like that. And it can actually, tell you a lot of good things that are ahead. So I would recommend that you read up about your personal astrology. When it comes down to the astrology of what is going on in the environment, it is very good for you to pay attention because they do have an effect on us as human beings. A lot of people don't even understand that. Like, for example, for me, I couldn't understand why first time you just get up one morning and you just feel miserable. Like you're just miserable, you're just frustrated, you don't even know why you feel like that. You just feel cranky, and everything is just like an issue for you. And you're never usually like that. And then when you check it out, it's how the planets are. The planets are probably turbulent, you know what I'm saying? So you have to, how should I say, learn. And even like when Mercury is in retrograde, every time Mercury is retrograde, I usually have some kind of misunderstanding with somebody close to me, some family member, some close friend, or some client or something. So when you are aware of these things, when you are aware of what is going on in the planets, then you can plan ahead. You could know that, when Mercury is in retrograde, you usually have travel issues. Sometimes when Mercury is in retrograde and I go to places like Western Union, MoneyGram, places to do business that entails computer work, the computer is usually down. It's usually failed. So when you are aware of these things, you don't go in there and cuss and carry on and get miserable. You just understand what is going on. and try to work with plan B. And that is why they always tell you that when Mercury is going into retrograde, you really need to back up your phones and your laptops and your tablets and stuff like that, so that just in case anything happens, you know what I'm saying? When Mercury is in retrograde, we usually have like electrical issues, mechanical issues, technical issues. So when you are aware of these things, then you don't freak out so much. You don't panic. You always make sure that you have a plan B. So I don't understand why, for me, the church and all those other people told us that these things were evil, and they call them the occult signs, because occult just means hidden. It doesn't mean evil. So they call them the occult signs because they wanted them hidden from us, because it's empowering. It's empowering to know these things. It's empowering to know that today, usually like on a day, this is why I tell people, if I'm not in the mood to do something, I'm not going to do it. Because usually there are certain days when your creativity comes out more. There are certain days when, you're more in the mood to organize yourself and put yourself together. I'm not saying that if you have to do something, not to go and do that. But just overall in general, if you have the option to choose and to include incorporating these aspects of the planet in your life, then you will see a big difference. Because if the planets are supporting you being creative, and usually for me, I always like, oh, that's why I feel like writing, that's why I feel like painting, that's why I feel like being creative. You always usually feel, once you're in alignment, you always go along with the flow of the planets. You know what I mean? So it's for you to just tap into those energies and to kind of like ride the momentum. You know what I mean? Usually sometimes when the planets are in a certain way, it's because it's stirring up certain things. It's stirring up old wounds. It's stirring up things that we need to heal and to deal with. And when you understand those things, when you understand that that is what is happening, you don't think you're damn crazy, okay? You understand that you're not going crazy, okay? This is something that is really happening, and it's happening, basically universally. So it's just really to like ride the momentum and to go with the flow. Go with the flow, because it's like usually what we do is just like put up a resistance. So I really encourage you to go out and get your numerology, your astrological chart done, and even just read up something about your sign, not just what you just always see in general. There's just like a lot of information on the internet. You're not going to really find anything that you won't say, you will have like aha moments, because you're just learning about yourself. And that is why it's kind of like, all of these things are self-knowledge, and that is why the philosophers always say know thyself. And these are some of the ways how you can know yourself. You can find out about yourself. You can understand why you are the way you are, and then you can work with that. You can work with either improving on your weaknesses and strengthening your capabilities. You know what I mean? So where numerology is concerned as well, so numerology is based on the science that every letter can be broken down to a code meaning. Now, there are different versions of numerology, Hebrew numerology and Western numerology, which is mostly what I deal with, or what I'm going to be talking about tonight. What you will find is that once you do the calculations, now numerology is an exact science. So if you don't know your birthday, it's not going to work. Okay, so you need to know which day you were born. And I mean, when you buy books and when you research online, you could probably find out information of how these things come about from years of studying, and also insights that people get from dreams and things like that. And they've just really been proven to really help people and really, really work. So, and also going back to astrology, that is why sometimes people will be like, oh, that girl is a Leo and I'm a Leo and I'm nothing like her. Because what happens is that they have different signs in different elements. You know what I'm saying? So because you have 16 different houses, even though you are a Leo, which is just your sun sign, that doesn't mean you're going to have fire signs in the rest of your astrological charts. Okay, so and what I love about numerology is that usually numerology, people will tell you that you have one main number, which is your birthday, but really you have five main numbers. So the first one is your, how should I call it now? Your soul urge, your soul calling. For those people who believe in for those people who believe in reincarnation, it's like basically your the calling that you've had from past lifetimes. It's like the soul urge that you've come to fulfill your purpose. And not everybody gets to express this, and you don't really show this side to everybody unless people really like know you very well. And how you get this number is you add all the vowels in your name. So all the vowels in your name, all the letters in your name basically break down to a number. So when you break them down to the number and then you work out the you know the sequence of what the your name is, when you like say, okay, say for example my name is, say, Minka, and M equals to 4, and then I equals to 9, and then N equals 5, and then K equals to 2, and then 1, A is 1. So that's what I mean by the different numbers. The different letters have different number codes attached to them. So when you break down the codes and then you add the numbers, hence numerology, you get basically information based on your birthday, based on your name, and that combination put together. So the combination of your name and your birthday, I think it's just like so cool. I've known about numerology since I was 16, and I've been really like using it because every year I have to figure out, okay, what year am I going through? And since I've been doing it since I was 16, I've been able to see how it really works in your life. So after you've basically worked that out, I know it's just like a lot of information. There's all this information online. If you want, we could do your astrological and your numerological chart for you and save you the trouble. We could just record it, and all you have to do is just listen to the recording. But if you have the time, you could just go online and find out the information for yourself. So you have your soul urge, you have your life path, and you have your destiny. You have, and they have different names as well based on different books and different schools of numerology. So, but you have five basic numbers. One is based on the vowels in your name, one is based on the consonants in your name, one is based off the combination of the vowel and the consonants in your name, and one is based on your birthday added together, and one is just based on your birthday. So your birthday itself has a lot of significance and basically tells a lot about you. You know what I'm saying? And people, you know, you could just basically tell a lot about a person just by knowing their birthday. So then you have the year that you were born combined with the month that you were born combined with the day that you were born also gives a significant insight into what your destiny is. These are the lessons that you've come here to learn. So when you know these things, like for example, my lessons that I've come here to learn is to learn how to manage money properly, to manage big businesses, to manage brain and brawn. It's just like, you know, to be able to mix creativity with practicality and just expand on that, and learn about mastering power and mastering authority and mastering money. So those were like really hard lessons for me to learn. But I'm learning them. So, you know, you have different insights like that. And different numbers will show why as to you're compassionate, and will give you certain like information as to help you with like your weaknesses or your challenges, then you know what I'm saying, and help you to understand your talents that you might not know you have. It's just like, I have a little knack for writing, or I have a little knack for photography, or I have a little knack for cooking. But so these things also help you to, give you guidance into the career path you should be taking, things that you would actually be good at, things like that. It's very interesting and it's very intriguing, and it's very, it's very nice to really like tap into. So, and And so after you've found out like your five major numbers, then you have things like, and basically also you will find like karmic lessons coming through, challenges coming through, special talents coming through. So if you have leadership capabilities, if you have, and like for example, challenges, for me, I have a challenge. I have a hermit challenge. I have a number 7 challenge, which means that I have a sparkling personality, but I don't like to be out in public. Like I don't like to be out in public. I love to be by myself. And that is a challenge that I need to find balance in. So all those things, isn't that interesting? That's very interesting to know and find out what those things are. And then, it's also nice to find out what what my talents are, so I can really like capitalize on them. So yeah, that's kind of like a nice little introduction to astrology and numerology. I hope you guys found that informative. If you have any questions, just DM me. And as I said before, there's a lot of information online that you could just go and find. I just really wanted to get you guys, whet your appetite and get you aware that there's nothing to fear with these things. And these things, there's nothing evil about these things. Why wouldn't you want to know these things so that you can empower yourself and see how best you can, I think they're awesome tools to help you along. So that's just one aspect of numerology. And then the other aspect of numerology is that it can help you to understand what the vibrations are that you're going through. So for example, you could break down based on your birthday, you could find out what personal year you're going through. And that will give you insight as to from January to December, what are the vibrations that you should expect? What is the kind of flow that you should be going with? So whether sometimes it's good to be starting a business, like for example, a lot of people start businesses and it's not that the business is not a good business idea. It's just that it's not the right timing. So like, for example, if you do a consultation with me and I do your calculations and see that you're having a 9-year, I wouldn't recommend for you to start a business or a 7-year. Because like when you're having a 7-year is more where you need to seek spirituality, where you need to do a lot of meditations, where you need to do visualizations, you need to do maybe like a vision board and get into spirituality, what you want. So when your 8-year comes, you are ready, you've been rested, you're aligned, you're physically ready for all the physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually ready for all the opportunities that are going to be coming to you in your 8th year. So I know I kind of like sound like I'm speaking French, but trust me, you guys are gonna catch on so easily. I know you guys are like bright people, so it's not hard at all to calculate. As I said before, if you don't want to go through the trouble, you could just DM me and we could do your charts for you, okay? So, and then you could find out also different cycles that you're going through and, things that they would suggest for you to be doing. So if anybody wants to get, an understanding of what they are going through, oh, I never thought of this. You're gonna have to give me your birthday though. So this year is a 3-year universally, and a 3 year is really like good for communication, writing. So you're gonna find a lot of improvements in communication, in technology, in arts and crafts, film, lots of movements in film and music. And just anything that has to do with creativity in general. It's a very fun year. So, it's very light and easy. It doesn't seem so harsh like the couple of years that we've just been through and all the healing and purging and stuff that we've been through. It's kind of like a year where you really need to lighten up and have fun. Let your hair down, mix business with pleasure, talk less on the phone, I know it's a year where people might get excited and want to jump the gun and, tell certain people certain things and then have their dreams shut down. So be careful that you're not spending too much time on the telephone. Be careful that you're not over shopping. Be careful that you're not getting caught up in gossip or anything like that, paying attention to too much social media. I know social media is so addictive, but you really have to try to keep your focus on being creative, expressing yourself. This is a year for self-expression, being your authentic self, speaking your truth, and really not giving a shit if whatever, like, we don't care if people want to like us, man. Like, we don't care. We just gonna be ourselves, and it's just the year for that authenticity. It's not a year for show off and in a false kind of way. It's more about nurturing yourself. It's more about being expressive in a nurturing kind of way, in a kind of like, not boastful, but it's kind of like you're proud of yourself kind of way. You know what I'm saying? So let your hair down, as I was saying before. Mix business with pleasure. Also, this is a year of communications, networking. So always have your phone on, ready, because you might be having a lot of parties and get-togethers or just synchronicities, meeting up, fated events, and you want to be there, make sure that you get a person's number, just in case they miss up or they leave the party early or something like that. Okay, so you really want to tap into those kind of energies and vibes. All right. What else? Yeah, so now we're gonna talk about spirit guides. And people are always asking me about spirit guides. How do you tap into, your spirit guides, and how do you hear them and all of that? I think that they've been talking to us since we were children. Now, because we have grown up in the western part of the world, we've been taught about, most of us have grown up with Christianity or in the Christian religion. So a lot of us tend to see things like, how should I say it now, in angels, in terms of angels and that kind of a vibe. So really and truly, spirit guides will come through for you based on your impression. You know what I'm saying? It's really hard to explain. I kind of know my inner voice different from when I actually hear my spirit guides talk. My spirit guides are very funny, okay? Well, some of them. So I realized that when I've been reading about spirit guides, what I learned is that everybody has basically 5 to 7 spirit guides that are always around them, always protecting them, always kind of like helping them out, kind of like a ways. But they don't really interfere in your life too much unless you ask, unless like maybe like they see you going in danger. So a lot of times you hear that voice in your head. I'm telling you, you really need to listen to it. So sometimes it's your intuition and sometimes it's your spirit guides guiding you, trying to tell you that. And trust me, I know a lot of people can attest, when you don't listen to that voice, you usually get in trouble. You usually something always go wrong or something like that, or things don't work out how you expect because you're not listening to your inner voice, right? So and you're not listening to that. How I hear them is just like, I hear them and I hear the different voices and I kind of like see them kind of like with the eye of my mind. So I noticed that all my life, my childhood coming up, I've had a certain set of spirit guides. No, the other day when I was not behaving myself, so sometimes I get very rude to my spirit guides. Like, they'll be trying to guide me and telling me certain things, and I don't want to listen, and I don't want to go down to that path, and I'm very rude to them. Like, I cuss them out, and I cuss them, and I tell them to leave me alone, and all of these things. And when I really do, what I notice is that when I really do get very feisty with my spirit guides, like one time I really got feisty with my spirit guides and I cussed them out really bad, and then the next day I woke up, there were some different spirit guides around me. And so like my regular spirit guides were taken away. And the spirit guides around me were kind of like in uniform. Like they were like soldier like. And they weren't like my regular spirit guides. They're very jovial and they kind of like, I think your spirit guides will match your personality. So they're very feisty, they're very jovial, you know, they always giving me jokes and stuff. But these ones, and they were really like strict. And they were just like on me. Because I was wasting time too. And I wasn't getting on my life purpose. I was messing around. I wasn't listening to my spirit guides. I wasn't doing, you know, what they were telling me to do. So, you know, in come these. And this was one time when, so the Ascended Masters are usually like, I don't know if you've ever watched Lord of the Rings, but when I think of Ascended Masters, you know how Gandalf looks and how Gandalf acts? It's kind of like that. It's kind of like they have this aura of regal. Like they're so regal and they're kind of like authoritative, you know, but in a very wise and gentle way, in a very wise, non-judgmental way. But you could tell that they're kind of like different from the regular spirit guides because of the level of authority that they you know, and usually I encounter them in my dreams. So I remember one time when I was talking about I didn't want no psychic powers, I didn't want no messages in my dreams, I didn't want no messages for nobody, I just wanted to be left alone. I remember I was called up to, in my dream, I was called up to the Ascended Masters. And I remember walking through this whole long hall, like an auditorium, and the spirit guides were like, oh, why doesn't she learn that she can't run? Like, oh my God, what is wrong with Minka? When will she get it? Oh, poor Minka. Oh my God, here we go again. And I was so ashamed in the dream because as you guys know, you know, your dreams are not just your dreams, right? We live in different astral realms when we go to sleep at night. And so I got called up and the Ascended Masters are like, please remember that you chose this path, first of all. And second of all, like, we are here to guide you and protect you, and we got you, kind of like a vibes. You know what I'm saying? You chose this path. You really have to woman up then and, you know, get with the program. What are you talking about? You don't want to have any kind of messages for people. That is what you that is the contract that you came. You said you wanted to come and help people to be enlightened and to be awakened and to do your life purpose. You are the one who asked for these gifts. You are the one who asked to be clairaudient and asked to be, you know, clairvoyant and a medium. And in the dream, I was just like, me? Why the hell would I ask for this shit? But I was so ashamed and I didn't say anything and I just listened. And then when I woke up, I was just like, okay, if I chose this path, then all right, I'm not going to run from it anymore. I'm going to try to understand like these spiritual gifts that I have. And then I remember when I woke up the next day, there were just like none of my regular spirit guides around me. And it freaked me out and I missed them so much. And I didn't even remember for how long they were gone. But after that, it was just like some soldier spirit guides and they were just like on me every minute. They were just like, listen, do this, do that. You need to do this. So these were the things that my regular spirit guides were telling me to do. But I was just like being faced with them. I couldn't be faced with these soldiers spirit guides. They were just like, they weren't playing around with me, you know, and they really helped me to like really get on doing the shit that I needed to do. Okay. And after that, I realized that my regular spirit guides, like, they came back. And then after that, though, because of what I was going through, and I was going through a lot of healing. I remember one time I was going through a lot of healing, and then I attracted spirit guides that were kind of like animals and humans mixed into each other. So I would see somebody that looks kind of like the big bird, and she would just wrap me. I was going through a lot of healing. Like, I was just bawling, and being triggered and going through the awakening process and the ascension and one bag of dark night of soul, and whew, Yeah, like last year was really rough. And I remember like they would just hug me, and those spirit guides, after the soldiers left, the spirit guides that I attracted were very nurturing. They were like old grandmothers, and they would just like, when I was crying, I would just see them rocking me. You can see like when you meditate a lot, and when your third eye is open and your chakras are open. And by the way, next show we're gonna talk about chakras. But when your chakras are open and your third eye is open, and you could see, you could feel them. You could feel these spirit guides, and I'm telling you, I could feel them just like rocking me, and they would tell me things. And they are always, always, always on point. Oh my goodness. They would tell me things, and I'll be like, there's no way that could be like that. There's no way. Like, you guys are crazy. And I know, like, people, and that's why I love that I live by myself. If you had a video in here watching me, you probably think I'm crazy, because listen, I have full out relationships with these with these spirit guides. I'm telling you, like, they really do help on the journey, and all you really have to do is just listen. They're always there for you. You could just invite them in, talk to them. It's kind of like reaching out to source. They're just different aspects of source. There are different aspects of, like, even yourself, because everything is one, but I can hear them differently. I remember one time I was just like bawling. This was like years ago, and this is when I first started realizing my deep connection with them, because I've always fought it. I've always been like, y'all leave me alone. I don't want y'all around me. And I remember I was bawling that I was lonely, and one of them was just like, so we are what? Chop liver. And I could distinctly hear another one say, yeah man, I saw the girl ungrateful and tan. And then we just all started laughing, and they've done that to me since that time so many times. Like, whole heap of time me I laugh, and them just say something, and I just started me a ball, and they say something, and I just started laughing, because it's just like so funny when you have that connection. And these are the things that people were put in the madhouse for, because they had that kind of connection with spirit guides and angels and source. And I've listened to Doreen Virtue's story, and of course it might make you feel like you're going crazy, because it's not a lot of people. But let me tell you, people are waking up, and people are gonna start waking up so fast. And usually a lot of us, we were born like that, and it was killed out of us. Like, I'm grateful that I was born in a psychic family. So because I was born in a psychic family, my mother understood my prophetic dreams. Like, all of us in my family, we have prophetic dreams. We could see ghosts easily. Like, it's paired up a story, and it's real experiences from everybody. Like, when we go, it's crazy. Even like my little nephews, like, they have psychic experiences, prophetic dreams. So like, my whole family is like that, and I'm very grateful. So I don't feel like too left out. I could talk to them and reason with them about certain things. And like, because of the internet also, you get to realize that a lot of people are like really becoming like this. So my spirit guides now, they're like, and then usually what is going on with my spirit guides kind of like coincide with what is going on with my dreams. So like, for example, recently my dreams, like, I have like blindfolds on, and my spirit guides have been so I've gotten my old spirit guides back, and they've just been like very hush hush. They're like, I don't know what kind of surprise they're planning, but I know that they're up to something. But it's kind of like, it's kind of like knowing that I have like this tribe, like this girly tribe, that I don't really, I have these spirit guides backing me, and like, they understand me, and I could talk to them about anything. And you guys have that. I'm telling you, every one of us have 5 to 7 spirit guides, and I can basically, over time now, kind of like see the different ones. Some of them are tall, and of course, in the spirit world and in different dimensions, it's kind of like, it's hard to put a physical description to anything like that. But in my mind's eye, I know what I'm seeing and I know what I'm hearing. And they're always on point. You know, like for example, if they say do this, do that, listen, anytime them say jump these days, I say how high. Because now I've developed, instead of resisting them, I've developed a trusting process, and I've learned to trust them, and I've learned to have this warm relationship with them now. So now I'm not fighting them, now I'm not cussing them out and being feisty with them. Now we just have this cool bond, and it's just like chummy. And now, like, I have my team. You know, I just like really feel like I have my spiritual team now, and I could just like take on whatever. It's just like, you know, and that's all a part of the whole ascension process, and the whole awakening process too, is to learn to connect with your spirit guides. And there are a lot of information again online of how you can connect with your spirit guides, and you don't have to worry about connecting with lower entities. If you're not on that vibration, you're not going to attract anything like that. There's no good, there's no evil. Yes, you do have certain spirits that are basically stuck to earth based on, you know, what they probably, the life they probably lived, and because they were so fearful of death, and they kind of like, it's hard for them to let go. That is why, like, whenever anybody close to me dies, I kind of do rituals and prayers, and you could do this too, to help to release their soul. You know what I'm saying? To help to release their soul so that they could either, you know, go on to, you know, I mean, of course, once somebody dies, like, they go immediately to the vortex, of course. But then sometimes you have the I'm gonna talk about this in my next video, but you have different bodies. So you have the physical body, and then you have the emotional body, you have the ethereal body, you have the astral body. You know, I think like you have 7 different ones of them. So after the physical body dies, it takes a while for these different bodies to disintegrate, right? And the faster that happens is, you know, the easier the transition for the soul. So usually I do prayers and meditations for their soul to release this material realm, if you understand what I'm saying. So yeah, it's kind of complicated, and I me myself, I don't even understand the half. The more I learn is the more I understand that I don't know anything at all. But I'm just like trying to share. And if you notice that I usually just try to share information from my perspective, from basically my experience, and how, because your path is going to be your path, your experience is going to be your experience with your spirit guides is going to be your experience with your spirit guides. But, you know, as I said before, this is my experience with them. You could go online and you could Google and find out different information about spirit guides. I know you can ask them to guide you in dreams. Like, for example, I know I have a lot of spirit guides that are always guiding me in my dreams and giving me certain tests. And you know, that is why it's important also to write down your dreams. So you have spirit guide, you have ascended masters, and like, this is why I tell people in my dreams, this is where I learned to do so many things. So when I come back to earth, I'm just like, people are like, oh, you're just so talented. But like, when you learn in the astral realm, you really learn fast. It's kind of like when you watch that movie, was it X-Men? I think it was X-Men, or no, it wasn't X-Men, The Matrix. When you watch The Matrix and the girl goes, oh, give me a download on how to fly an helicopter. It's the same way. They put these things in movies all the time. That's how I love some of these movies too, because trust me, don't think that they are no freaking sci-fi shit. There's some real shit. So you could just basically go to school in your dreams, go to these different astral realms and learn different things. Just get a program right away, and you don't have to go through the whole learning process. You just come back to earth. Like, I just come back to earth. I remember one time I was taking an art class, and the students started complaining about how I don't need to be in no art class because I'm already an artist and I know how to paint already. somebody. And I don't know how to paint. And there are like certain techniques that I know that I've never been to school. And like a lot of artists and art teachers are like, how do you know that technique? And I'm like, honestly, I don't know. But I know that I go to school in my dreams and I learn these things. I learn music. I learn how to paint. I learn how to make jewelry. I learn about formulas and herbs and just different things like that. And because like, and then when I go over there, like I bring back the memory. I'm probably like not making sense. But like I bring back the memory. So it's just like, that is why when I'm doing things, and I just go with the flow and go with my spirit and like try to meditate so that I can always hear and be connected with source. You know what I'm saying? So that is how I'm able to accomplish a lot of the things that I accomplish and learn a lot of the things that I learn, because I do it in the astral realms. And I also rely on my spirit guides and how should I say it now? Definitely my deep connection to source and my ascended master. So you guys can go and read up on these things. They are very interesting. My life is so easy and effortless now that I've stopped fighting my purpose, now that I've stopped fighting my path and decided that I'm gonna stop running from when people, because the thing about it is when people like their loved ones who have transitioned, when they used to come to me with messages, like they didn't make any sense. Like these messages don't make no sense to me. But since I've been getting brave and I just message a person if I can get access to them, and then like I'll share the information and it makes sense to the person. So, and then people who know that I do things like that, like they will just message me and they will ask me for messages from their loved ones. And it's crazy how it makes perfect sense. I don't know how I do it, but immediately, like even if I've never met the person, it's kind of like I call them on the phone. So if you call me and say you want to get a message from your grandma, I just be like, okay. And I just quiet my mind. And then I just tell your grandma to come through, and she comes through. And I don't know how, but usually I'm able to describe these people, and that's what, let people know that I'm real. And I describe these people, and the messages that I'm getting is seriously sorry. The messages that I'm getting usually make sense for the people that I'm getting them for. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, I remember one time I was doing this reading for this girl, and her father started coming through and just like really, giving me messages for her. And I didn't even know that she smoked. And her father was just like, you need to stop smoking. And then he told me some other stuff, and she just started bawling. Usually people that I get messages from their deceased loved ones, they usually start bawling because they're like, they don't even understand how I know. I don't even understand how I know. But I think that all of us are born with these gifts. I think that, it's just a matter of doing the spiritual work. I've just been in a fortunate position where I'm just able to do my spiritual work. I'm just able to tap into that realm. And as I said before, I used to fight it. There usually between October and Christmas, there are so many spirits in my yard. It's not even funny. And like another thing that's so crazy that I find, like I'll just start speaking into, like for example, a spirit will come around me and they'll start speaking in English, like with an English accent. And then a couple of days later, somebody calls me from England, and they want to know about their relative or something. It's so crazy. And then I was just like, oh, that was your relative that came through. So usually like they come through a little bit before their family members can tap me. And sometimes like they're in my yard and I'm just like, what's going on? Why so many of you are packed up in my yard? And some of them are like, oh, we've come to help you work because you're going to be getting a lot of workload, or some of them is just like, oh, we've come to give you messages for our loved ones. Our loved ones are going to be coming to you, and we've come to give you messages for them. So things like that. And yo, who wouldn't be spooked out though? Like, those things used to spook me out. I used to just go crazy. I used to bawl. I used to throw myself on the floor. I used to try to tear my hair out. I was just like, leave me alone. I used to burn incense. I used to pray. But it's just like, the more I tried to resist, is the more persistent they would get. They would be like, ain't nobody else can hear us but you. They would be like, we don't know who else to talk to. You can hear us. You can hear us. You can see us. Like, kind of like a vibe. Like, I really need you to get this message through to my family member right now. You really need to tell them this, and you need to tell them that, and whatever the case may be. And those messages bring so much peace, though, to the people who, you know, they've left behind. It's so incredible, you know. And I think a lot of people that have psychic abilities, prophetic dreams, a lot of us do like that. Yeah, exactly. Like, everywhere I go, I see dead people. And it's so crazy because, like, I'll be driving through a place in Jamaica, and I'd be like, there are a lot of slaves. And I could just actually see the slaves in the fields, like they stopping and looking around. It's crazy. Like, I can feel their spirit. Like, today I went on a hike, and I could just know that the slaves passed through. And then when I was inquiring, that path actually led all the way to Portland. So it definitely makes sense. I think it makes sense. Like, I think, you know, our ancestors would have made treks through that place. And I was picking up their energies, and I was picking up their vibes. Like, you know, I think all of us are able to do this. And you just really need to spend more time meditating and pay attention, and don't listen to people when they tell you that you're crazy. I just was at a funeral, and this girl, she went up and she was just like, oh, she was having some challenges coming to the funeral because the guy who passed on, our friend, was a little joker, and he loved to play with her, and he was just like boxing things, you know, over and stuff. And she was like, she knew it was him that was messing with her. And we all laughed because that was just him. Even me, when I was eating my shaved ice, like, listen, everybody, I bought shaved ice for like my whole family, and I had the shaved ice. And remember, he's my friend. And I don't know how, I thought I saw a shadow pass me. So I jumped. It wasn't, well, maybe it was a shadow, but I jumped and all of my shaved ice fell. And I was just like, and I remember when we were kids, we were always racing to see who could get to the shave ice man first. So him boxing out that shave ice just instantly brought those memories back. And instead of being sad, you know, I just started to laugh, you know, because I was like bawling the whole morning because it was just like the day of his funeral, right? So things like that. And you know, when you really tap into that, you'll find out that death is an illusion, and that you could tap into the essence of these loved ones who have passed off. And I remember the pastor, because the girl went up and said that he was gonna say about how the girl don't, because you know, in the country they say when your husband pass off, you need to tie tape measure around your waist, and you need to wear a certain color panty and whatever to keep him off. Let me tell you, it's a serious thing. Let me tell you something. Only need for come a country, come listen to the Duppy story. Them more is just so real, because it's like, even this lady, even women that don't even really believe in those things, it happened to. Because this lady started saying, you can stay there because her husband came and he did try. Like, she remembered she went to her mother to stay. Oh, I only have 30 minutes left. But she went to her mother to stay, and he actually came and was lifting her off the bed to take her back. And he told her that he'd come to take her home. It's crazy. So these things are real. And if these experiences are happening to you, you're not going crazy, okay? So join me next week, though. And I'm going to be talking about chakras and more of these things in depth. Thanks for joining.